Hello everyone, my name is Adam Snyder, and this presentation is about my fundraising project for the Boy Scouts of America. I'll walk through my goal, what strategies I used, and the results that I did end up getting, and also what I learned throughout the process. So to start, my fundraising goal and my strategy. My goal for this project was to raise $350. I started with a simple strategy. I reached out to a mix of my warm and cold prospects through calls, text, and Instagram, and a little bit through Snapchat. I kept my messages short and straightforward. I mainly focused on making the ask feel more personal instead of scripted, because that usually gets a better reaction. I also tried to keep my fundraiser easy to understand by explaining where the money goes and why it matters. Now, my final results, I'm happy to say that I did reach the full goal and ended with exactly $350. I had 6 total donors, mostly through family and a couple friends. So I got them all through Warm. Now, yeah, all of them came through Warm leads, and the donations ranged from about $5 from my sister, thankful for that, up to $100, which my dad ended up giving, and my grandma, actually. And my cold prospects either didn't respond at all or told me they couldn't donate right now. So even though I did reach out to every cold contact, none of them I got converted over to making a donation. This made it very clear that relationships and familiarity made a huge impact on the outcome. Like, everyone that I reached out to that I knew I was very confident with, and they ended up donating to help me out. And now, what did work for me, the biggest thing that worked was keeping my messages simple. Warm leads were a lot more willing to help because they already knew me and trusted what I was doing. Calling or texting them directly led to a quick conversations instead of long back and forth messages. Social media also made the ask feel a lot more personal and less forced. Overall, the warm outreach proved that personal connections do really matter a lot in sales. It makes it a lot easier for the starting of it. And it really helped my entire fundraising just talking to them first, because I made it before I even reached out to my cold contacts. And I did use some example stories about scouts that helped connect them emotionally. It really just made them feel like what they were donating to really mattered and that they would be making an impact. And now, what did not work? The biggest issues I ran into were definitely the cold outreach. A lot of people did not answer, and the few who did basically said they were not able to donate at the moment. It was also challenging for me because I hesitated a lot at first, so I reached out to all the warm contacts. Cold calls were a little uncomfortable when you don't have any relationship with this person. And I realized that without a connection or a clear reason why the fundraiser matters to them, cold contacts just do not feel motivated. This part taught me a lot about how tough cold outreach can be. Now, I did learn a lot of lessons. One of the biggest things I did learn was that warm leads will almost always outperform cold ones. Personal trust does create results. I also learned that you do not need a perfect script. What matters is being confident and making a clear ask. I also learned that rejection is normal and not something to take personally. Another lesson that momentum builds once you start reaching out to people. You get a lot more confident and just start asking way more people. And after I sent the first few messages, it became easier to keep going. Overall, this project showed me how important, relationships and confidence and follow-ups really are in sales, because that's how I got most of my donations. A lot of the follow-ups to the cold calls I wasn't really able to test out because no one reached back to me. But a lot of the future improvements that I could work on, if I did this again, I would start with the cold outreach a lot earlier so I could follow up more and give people more time to respond. I would also try to make a stronger opening message that gives people a reason to care right away. Another improvement that I could use would be adding more short stories about the scouts or why you're helping them, or some pictures of them actually using what you're gonna fund to better enjoy scouts. And finally, I would keep better notes on my responses that I did get, so I can adjust my sales approach to them, so I'm better catered to each person and I understand what type of each people are looking for. And now, even though cold leads were tough this time, I feel like I understand a lot more moving forward about how I can go on about it and do a lot better with my cold leads.